Hey guys, today I'm going to tell you about how I think Master Chief should die in Halo Infinite. I'm going to explain first how this should happen, and then later for the second half of the video, we're going to explain why this should happen. So, first of all, we know Halo Infinite is going to be a soft reboot of the series, going back to the Halo ring and such, and hopefully that means we're going to see some returning traditions. Traditions like starting on a spaceship for the first tutorial level and small corridor levels before expanding the game. The other tradition I would really like to see return, of course, is the Warthog run at the end of the campaign. I don't know how narratively it's going to work, of course, but I would love to just see the Warthog run return at the end of the campaign in a similar fashion to like Halo 1, Halo 3, and even ODST had a Warthog run, and that was right before a little standoff thing. So it'd be really cool to see this tradition return, just like in Halo 1. So maybe we're going to try to escape an exploding ship, like the Infinity, or just like in Halo 1, we're running from the Pillar of Autumn, it's gonna blow up, and we get to the end of the Warthog run, and there's things blocking the way, we gotta run for the ship. But as soon as we get close this time, the ship kind of blows up that we're trying to, get away from. Not the Infinity, but, the Saber or whatever spaceship we're trying to escape on. And so, on radio comms, we get, somebody's coming back, they're circling around, pick up for us, and we're gonna have to do some sort of wave defense, pretty much, right? We're gonna fight until they get to us. We're gonna hold out for them. It'll be a little bit like Halo 3 ODST. At the end of the run, the elephant was damaged, and now we gotta hide down here, wait for evac, and just hold out against the enemies. As for the enemies, I would love to see the Flood be the enemies, of course, to fight the Flood again. And that kind of makes sense for like a wave-based survival, but of course, it could be whoever, we could be fighting the Covenant, preferably not Prometheans. But as you're fighting, you're defending against the Flood, and they keep pushing you. You lose comms, and you're fighting, and you take some hits, and you're starting to realize it's feeling a little less like this, and it's starting to feel a little more like this. Your visor's getting cracked. You're losing HUD options. Ammo's becoming scarce. You're running out. And then finally, you die in-game, and the cutscene starts. The cutscene starts rolling. In the scene, you see Chief. He's being a badass. He's kicking Flood forms down. He's unloading his assault rifle, and then the mag runs out. He knocks down the nearest Flood with the empty weapon, turns around but gets hit, and the same weapon that you just knocked somebody down with gets thrown from him. That iconic weapon just slides across, and then the camera cuts to it. And you see from the perspective of the weapon for some reason. You can see the barrel, and you look up and you see Chief, and he's savvy with a knife, and he's fighting Flood. But slowly, he just becomes overrun, until one Flood finally penetrates his chest, wounding him fatally. And too many Floods start to swarm, and you lose sight of him, and the camera fades, and Chief dies. Now, of course, this scene sounds epic and sad all at the same time, and it also needs to happen in the series, but there's a reason why this needs to happen. And real quick, the business side of things, just to explain that, Steve Downes, who is the voice actor for the Chief, has expressed that he would like to retire sometime. Eventually, this is going to have to become a reality, but let's talk about the game side of things. It does matter that Chief dies. As for Chief's character arc, it's been an interesting one, that's for sure. In the Bungie trilogy, he wasn't designed to be a character, but a body that the player could just inhabit. When the trilogy did, use Chief as a voice, right? Chief never spoke unless it was in a cutscene. I know from the lore side of things, he actually was, had some characteristics, but if you don't read the books, in terms of just the game, he's just a set of armor that you control. The running gag was not showing his face, but, not only was that humorous and kind of a tradition, but simply put, he didn't need a face. He was just an awesome suit of armor, and the player was the person inside of there, not John. In Halo 4, his character began to evolve. Gaming had matured a little bit, and so were its characters. Narratives became about the evolution of a character, not just being cool unless it was designed to be that way. If you're in Doom 2016, yeah, you're a cool monster guy, just slaughtering demons, but Chief was being humanized, and that was brought down to earth instead of him just being this giant killing machine. Up until this point, Cortana had always personified who the Chief was, but as we all know, the narrative of Halo 4 ended with Cortana dying, and Chief was just left there to ponder his humanity, and if he can truly separate himself from being the war machine that he's always been. For those of you that don't know the lore, Chief was taken away as a kid, his life was taken away from him, but if you don't care about the lore, Chief never had a life in the games. He wasn't fighting for anything in his own personal life, like a wife or kids. He was just fighting for humanity. Chief struggles to just socialize because he doesn't do that in the games. Narratively, we just know that Chief's arc is that he's just a war machine that never had a life. Do you see Chief, like, settling down and having a family and kids? Look at Marcus Phoenix from Gears of War. You know, he had some humanity to him. He cared about his father. Dom had a wife. They fought for their lives because that mattered to them. They had a life there. Chief doesn't care about, tomatoes. He doesn't care about saving the world because he wants to go home to his family or have one. That was never part of his life. Even Kratos, who's evolved from just a killing machine, he had characteristics in the God of War series that made him a character, and that's why it matured a little bit in the new God of War. I'm just assuming. I've never actually played it, so I guess ultimately, I don't see any final resolution to his character that doesn't involve him dying in war. He needs to go out, and this could be a way to convey just a variety of themes from 343's perspective. Maybe it's going to convey, the evil doings of a government agency, right? I'm not a writer, but I'm sure you could do that. Maybe you can invest your story about, losing yourself to the cause that you dedicate yourself to, and losing the humanity that we had because we're just so passionate or we don't know what we're doing until it's too late. There's so many different, like, arcs or character personifications that we could use here. Again, I'm not a writer, so 343, you gotta do a better job than I can on that one. And then lastly, of course, there are several characters in the series that could take up the mantle that Chief leaves behind. I would suggest making his character a Spartan just to keep the look and, the iconic Halo Spartan design. But my personal choice, of course, would be Jerome. He's just cool, and he kind of has room to grow. He can be a character in a more mature gaming audience, setting that we're coming to know. Or you could even pick someone like Buck, who, at least has some personification and was in love and all this other stuff. But of course, choosing somebody new is always an option as well. I don't think it's the best option, but it is always an option because we have a huge Halo universe out there. On a side note, it'd be great if in Halo 7, whatever it's going to be, if the Flood do return and they are the ones that consume Chief, it'd be amazing to, at some point, find Chief's armor inside a proto-grave mind and find the carcass of John. But of course, that's just assuming the Flood are the ones that kill him, and the narrative gives us the opportunity to do so. I just think it'd be really cool. Be a nice Easter egg in Halo 7. And that's about it for the video, guys. Obviously, everything is hypothetical. This is all just my opinion as well, so maybe you don't want to see some of the things I listed. I just think it'd be really cool, and at some point, Chief's got to go. Not that, I don't like the character. Chief is obviously one of the best and iconic characters of the Halo series, but at some point, things got to end for him. So anyways, this is how I'd want it to happen, and these are some of the reasons why it should happen. But what about you guys? What do you think? Should he die? Should he go have a family? Should he grow tomatoes like Marcus? Let me know in the comments, and if you did like the video, I would genuinely appreciate if you could just let me know with a like or a subscription. I've been trying to put a lot of work into the channel, and it's growing pretty well, but as always, everyone, I hope to see you all in the game.